Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Canton City Council. Everyone could please turn their cell phones to vibrate, and we are also encouraging social distancing here in council chambers. With a quorum being present, the chair calls this meeting of Canton City Council to order. Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Smuckler.
Here.
Babcock.
Here.
Shulman.
Here.
Hawk.
Here.
Kimbrough.
Here.
Scaglione.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Fisher.
Here.
Hall.
Here.
Mariel.
Here.
Ferguson.
Here.
Morris.
Here.
12 present, Mr. President.
Tonight's invocation will be given by the Ward 4 Councilwoman, Chris Smith. If you would all please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Will you bow your heads, please? Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for allowing us to come together once again, dear Lord, to do the good works of the city and to continue to move the city forward. We want you to bless all of us, dear Lord. Guide us, guide our tongues, guide our lives, guide our minds, so that we may be able to solve things that needs to be solved. We thank you for all the many things that you have blessed us with. We want you to keep, dear Lord, the families that are hurting. Betty Smith and her husband, dear Lord, please keep them safe. And also, please bless the family of Dave Armstead, which is one of our Democrat members, to where he went peacefully home on Saturday. Bless all of those, dear Lord, that are in your need and prayer. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Member Smith. We are now under agenda corrections and changes. Leader Smuckler.
Mr. President, I move Rule 22A be suspended to add second reading ordinances 10 through 15 to this evening's agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to suspend Rule 22A to add second readings to ordinances 10 through 15 to this evening's agenda. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smuckler. Babcock. Shulman. Hawk. Kimbrough. Scaglione. Smith. Fisher. Hall. Mariel. Ferguson. Morris. 12 yeas, Mr. President.
The motion carries, and ordinances 10 through 15 are a legal part of your agenda. We are now under public hearings, and we have no public hearings for this evening. We are now under old business, and there is no old business for this evening. We are now under public speaks, and we have 3 speakers for tonight. Our first speaker is Miss Kimberly Bell. And I do not see Miss Bell here tonight, so we will move on to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Michael Hurd. And clerk, is the mic on?
Should be.
Okay.
Good evening, Council.
Mr. Hurd, could you please state your name and residential address, please?
Michael Walter Hurd, 1021 7th Street, Northeast Canton, Ohio.
All right, thank you.
What I'm here to address the meeting about is where we live at, down on 7th and Gibbs. It has really become a nuisance down there. We have people down there running stop signs, and that means all day long. And I've called the police, we've called the police. Oh, we'll get a car out there when we can. And, you know, that's fine and dandy. And my next call is about the prostitutes down there. It have really got outrageous, it and the drugs down on 7th and Gibbs. I mean, they got so now, I had to tell them the other day that, hey, you're in front of my house. Would you please leave? I mean, they don't live there. People bring them there, drop them off. I got into an altercation with the young man. He brought his girlfriend down there and dropped her off and sit in front of our house, and I told him if he didn't leave, I would call the police. And he told me I couldn't do that. But I told him, hey, I took your tag number, and I called the police right in front of them. They said that they would send a car out. No car come out. This Friday that just passed, we had an empty house that a prostitute was coming out of. Hey, call the police. Police come to the corner. They turned up in there where the empty house was. They talked to her. She walked on away from the police car. And before you could get to the corner good, she was hopping in the car. I mean, this gotta stop. I have grandkids, and I've told them if they're caught in front of my house at night, I will take their picture, I will take their car down, and I will call the police. I mean, the city needs to do something about it. I mean, this here just getting outrageous. I think if it was on the other end of town, if something would be done about it. But since it's down near, and it don't seem like nobody care to come down there. When you call them, they're not there. So what can we do? I mean, hey, me and my wife are just at a standstill right now. I mean, she even took pictures of girls out there flagging cars down and everything. Only thing I'm asking, if you're not, even if you could just send more patrolmen down there. We only see a patrolman maybe twice a week. And, I mean, that don't make sense. We need to see more patrolmen. Maybe if we saw more patrolmen, they would stop it. Or they'll do something about it. The drug house right up the street from us, hey, they come there. Police officers don't do nothing. You call them, oh, you got proof? Look out front. How much more proof you need? Look at all the cars parked out there. So, I mean, it's just getting to be a menace. And like I said, hey, I've already told them, don't be caught in front of my house, because if they do, I will be taking pictures, and I will be calling the police. You know, I don't want to be in no altercation with them, but if I have to, I will.
Mr. Hurd, I would encourage you to stay after the meeting if you could, if you and your wife could, and to have a conversation with your councilman, and I'm sure there's something that we can do. But you're only allotted 3 minutes to speak. But
I'm ready to talk to our councilman.
Okay, but I thank you. I thank you for coming tonight. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Pete Carpico. I think I'm getting that right now, right?
Yep.
Mr. Carpico, could you please step forward and give us your name and residential address, please?
Yes, my name is Pete Carpico. I live at 391 Whitetail Trail Northeast in Canton. I was here 2 weeks ago, and I asked you to come to the meeting about the lead, and I just wanted, you know, I feel like this. If I say, hey, you need to be there, and you didn't show up, I'd be down here yelling at you, going, why didn't you show up? But I said, hey, you need to be there, and a bunch of you were there, and I definitely want to do the other thing, which is give you my appreciation for seeing the council and the mayor step up and come to the meeting and see how important this is to the residents who live around Republic Steel. This has been going on for a long time. It continues. To me, it's one of those things that it's a continued battle, but it is nice to have some of you make time out of your busy schedule in an evening, and especially at a short notice. I know I only gave you 8 days notice, so I wanted to share my appreciation with you for coming down. I hope that we continue to move forward, and you know, there's been some talk of having another meeting, and also there's talk from the Ohio EPA that there's going to be another finding held against them, which will lead, I would assume, to another public meeting with Ohio EPA and the residents. So, like I said, I felt compelled to say thank you, because, you know, I'm sure all you hear is, you're bad, you guys didn't do this, you didn't do that. I think sometimes you need that pat on the back. So thank you very much. I appreciate that, and I look for this to be an ongoing thing as we battle this company. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carpico. We are now under informal resolutions, and we have none for this evening. We are now under communications. Let the journal show that all communications are received as read. We are now under ordinances and formal resolutions for their first reading. Mr. Clerk, would you please begin with ordinance number 1?
An ordinance adopting the City of Canton's alternative tax budget for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2022, and declaring the same to be an emergency. Refer to Finance. Number 2, ordinance amending appropriation ordinance number 49, 2021, declaring the same to be an emergency. Refer to Finance. Number 3, an ordinance authorizing the Mayor, Director of Public Service to enter into contract change order number 1 with Arcadis in amount not to exceed $54,302 for the water distribution system hydraulic model to perform transient modeling and evaluations, amending appropriation ordinance number 49, 2021, declaring the same to be an emergency. Refer to Finance. Number 4, an ordinance approving Canton City water main extension to Advent Lutheran Church, authorizing Mayor, Director of Public Service to enter into any agreements necessary for the extension of said water mains, declaring same to be an emergency. Refer to Environmental Public Utilities and Finance. Number 5, an ordinance authorizing the Mayor, Director of Public Service to advertise, receive bids, award, and enter into construction contract, execute a professional services contract for construction engineering services, enter into a work license/easement agreement with Wheeling and Lake Erie Railway Company for the Island Avenue Southeast Area Sanitary Sewer and Water Line Project GP 1332, and enter into an agreement with the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency to receive a low-interest loan for the sanitary sewer portion of the project. Authorizing the auditor to establish the 5445 Island Avenue Sanitary Sewer Project GP 1332 Fund, amending appropriation ordinance number 49, 2021, authorizing the auditor to pay all moral obligations for contract change orders, declaring same to be an emergency. Refer to Finance and Environmental Public Utilities. Number 6, a resolution designating public monies available for active and interim deposits and designating depository banks for said deposits and declaring same to be an emergency. Refer to Finance. Number 7, ordinance amending appropriation ordinance number 49, 2021, declaring same to be an emergency. Refer to Finance. Number 8, an ordinance amending appropriation ordinance number 49, 2021, declaring same to be an emergency. Refer to Finance. Number 9, ordinance authorizing the auditor to create 4594 3rd Street Southeast Resurfacing Project Fund, amending appropriation ordinance number 49, 2021, declaring same to be an emergency. Refer to Public Property Capital Improvement and Finance. Mr. President.
At this time, the chair would declare an in-house recess for Finance, Public Property, and Capital Improvement Committees to meet in regards to ordinances 7, 8, and 9 on your agenda this evening. You are now in recess.
Thank you, Mr. President. It is 7:13. We'll call Finance to order. We have ordinance number 7, an ordinance amending appropriation ordinance number 49/2021 and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, fund number 2415 is our guardrail and attenuator fund, and it's used to fix and replace damaged guardrails, street lights, etc. And this fund is funded by insurance refunds. Well, in 2021, we've already had $50,000 worth of expenditures related to these type of repairs. And on a normal year, on average, we spend about $50,000 on repairs. So what this means is that we need to appropriate an additional $50,000 into this fund. We have $170,000 available to appropriate, and we're only going to appropriate $50,000. So we're asking for approval of this measure. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Here, find it out. Moving on to ordinance number 8, an ordinance amending appropriation ordinance number 49/2021 and declaring same to be an emergency.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, this is an appropriation of the unappropriated balance of the 5601 Refuse Fund, $25,000 to Refuse Other. What it will then do is be transferred into the DMV fund. We had an issue with one of our front-loading trucks. It's a 2013 truck, so it's still within its useful life. The accessory transmission, which impacts accessory items such as the air brake and power steering, went down. Unfortunately, this is not something we can fix in-house. Our quote to fix it is just under $25,000. Generally speaking, a $25,000 outside repair takes up a large chunk of the DMV budget for outside repairs. So because this is outside of the norm, what we're doing here is asking approval to reimburse the DMV fund through this supplemental appropriation for the repair of our front loader truck.
Okay, questions? Hearing none, we'll sign it out at 7:16. That concludes finance.
We'll call joint session of finance and public property capital improvement order. This is ordinance 9 on your agenda. An ordinance authorizing the auditor to create the 4594 3rd Street Southeast Resurfacing Project Fund, amending appropriation ordinance 49/2021, declaring the same to be an emergency.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, we're calling the paving of 3rd Street Southeast from Cherry to Riverside Drive Southeast, paving program phase 2. The reason this was not bid out with the large-scale paving program earlier this year is we have municipal road funds in the amount of $387,762 for the project, and additionally we received a $73,525 OPWC grant for this. The remaining approximate $39,000 will come from capital funds and engineering's budget. So the purpose of this appropriation is we weren't exactly sure what the OPWC grant would be, and that doesn't become available until after July 1st. Now that we know what the exact dollar amount of the OPWC grant is, we need to appropriate the $73,526 in order to move forward with this grant-funded paving project.
Questions or concerns on this? Hearing none, we'll sign it out. 7:18.
Good.
Council is reconvening after the recess. Leader?
Mr. President, I move we suspend Rule 22A to place ordinances 7, 8, and 9 back on this evening's agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to suspend Rule 22A to place ordinances 7, 8, and 9 back on this evening's agenda. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smucker.
Aye.
Babcock. Aye. Showman. Aye. Hawk. Aye. Kimbrough. Aye. Scaglione. Aye. Smith. Aye. Fisher. Hall. Aye. Merrill. Aye. Ferguson. Aye. Morris. Aye. 12 yeas.
Motion carries and ordinances 7, 8, and 9 are a legal part of your agenda. Leader?
Mr. President, I move we suspend the statutory rules of ordinances 7, 8, and 9.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to suspend the statutory rules on ordinances 7, 8, and 9. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smucker.
Aye.
Babcock. Aye. Showman. Aye. Hawk. Aye. Kimbrough. Aye. Scaglione. Aye. Smith. Aye. Fisher. Aye. Hall. Aye. Merrill. Aye. Ferguson. Morris. Aye. 12 yeas, Mr. President.
You've heard the 3 readings. Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 7.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that you adopt ordinance number 7. Are there any remarks under this ordinance? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smucker.
Aye.
Babcock. Aye. Showman. Aye. Hawk. Aye. Kimbrough. Aye. Scaglione. Aye. Smith. Aye. Fisher. Aye. Hall. Aye. Merrill, Ferguson, Morris. 12 yeas, Mr. President.
The motion carries and ordinance number 7 is adopted. Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 8.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that you adopt ordinance number 8. Are there any remarks under this ordinance? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smucker.
Aye.
Babcock. Showman. Hawk. Kimbrough. Scaglione. Smith. Fisher. Hall. Merrill. Ferguson. Morris. 12 yeas, Mr. President.
The motion carries and ordinance number 8 is adopted. Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 9.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that you adopt ordinance number 9. Are there any remarks under this ordinance? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smucker. Babcock. Showman. Hawk. Kimbrough. Scaglione. Smith. Fisher. Hall. Merrill. Ferguson. Morris. 12 yeas with one definitely.
11 yeas and 1 definitely yes,
Yeah.
for the record. The motion carries and ordinance number 9 has been adopted. We're now under ordinances and formal resolutions for their second reading. Mr. Clerk, would you please begin with ordinance number 10?
An ordinance amending ordinance number 100/2011 as amended to establish the attached exhibit as a classification plan for the auditor's office management and non-bargaining personnel employed by the city of Canton and declaring same to be an emergency. Number 11, an ordinance amending ordinance number 100/2011 as amended to establish the attached exhibit as the classification plan for the auditor's office management and non-bargaining personnel employed by the city of Canton and permit the auditor to give a wage increase of 4.075 in addition to the 3% permitted by ordinance, declaring same to be an emergency. Number 12, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter an agreement with the State of Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction for the receipt of the FY 2021-2023 Justice Reinvestment and Incentive Pretrial Grant in an amount of $380,401 and declaring same to be an emergency. Number 13, an ordinance authorizing the editing and inclusion of certain ordinances as part of the various component codes of the codified ordinances, Canton, Ohio, and declaring same to be an emergency. Number 14, a resolution authorizing the law director to distribute free of charge to public officials and public institutions copies of the 2021 supplement to the Canton codified ordinances to a fixed price for the sale of same and declaring same to be an emergency. Number 15, ordinance authorizing the mayor, director of public service to enter into a funding agreement with Economic Community Development Institute, Inc., in an amount not to exceed $1,150,000 and declaring same to be an emergency. Mr. President.
Leader?
Mr. President, I move we suspend statutory rules on ordinance number 15.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to suspend the statutory rules on ordinance number 15. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smucker.
Aye.
Babcock. Showman. Hawk. Kimbrough. Scaglione. Smith. Fisher. Hall. Merrill. Ferguson. Morris. 12 yeas, Mr. President.
The motion carries. You've heard the 3 readings. Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 15.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that you adopt ordinance number 15. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smucker. Babcock. Showman. Hawk. Kimbrough. Scaglione. Smith. Fisher. Hall. Merrill. Ferguson. Morris. 11 yeas, 1 abstention, Mr. President.
The motion carries and ordinance number 15 has been adopted. We are now under ordinances of formal resolutions for their 3rd final reading and vote. Leader?
Mr. President, I move we reconsider ordinance number 140/2021 adopted on July 12th, 2021.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to reconsider ordinance 140/2021 adopted on July 12th, 2021. Are there any remarks?
Mr. President, I move we amend ordinance 140.
No, Majority Leader, we still need to vote on
I
that.
know, I'm jumping the gun.
No.
All right.
Are there any additional remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smucker. Babcock. Showman. Hawk. Kimbrough. Scaglione. Smith. Fisher. Hall. Merrill. Ferguson. Moores. 12 yeas, Mr. President.
The motion carries. Leader?
Mr. President, I move we amend ordinance 140/2021 per the copy before each council member.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to amend ordinance 140/2021 per the copy before each of you. Are there any remarks? Hearing none by voice vote, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance 140/2021 as amended.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance 140/2021 as amended. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smucker.
Aye.
Babcock. Showman. Hawk. Kimbrough. Scaglione. Smith. Fisher. Hall. Merrill. Ferguson. Morris. 11 yeas, 1 nay, Mr. President.
The motion carries and ordinance 140/2021 as amended is adopted. Mr. Clerk, would you please read ordinance number 17, please?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor, director of public service to advertise, see bids, award, and execute a construction contract and execute a professional service contract for construction oversight services for the Viola Estates Sanitary Sewer Project, GP 1336, amending appropriation ordinance number 49/2021, authorizing the auditor to pay all moral obligations for related project change orders that are otherwise approved by the Board of Control pursuant to codified ordinances 105.14 and declaring same to be an emergency.
Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 17.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 17. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smucker. Babcock. Showman. Hawk. Kimbrough. Scaglione. Smith. Fisher. Hall. Merrill. Ferguson. Morris. 12 yeas, Mr. President.
Motion carries and ordinance number 17 is adopted. Ordinance number 18, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor, director of public service to advertise, see bids, award, and execute a construction contract and enter into a work license/easement agreement with the Wheeling and Lake Erie Railway Company for the Burnham Hills Sanitary Sewer Realignment Project, GP 1220. Authorizing the auditor to pay all moral obligations for related project change orders that are otherwise approved by the Board of Control pursuant to codified ordinances 105.14, amending appropriation ordinance number 49/2021 and declaring same to be an emergency.
Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 18.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 18. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smucker. Babcock. Showman. Hawk. Kimbrough. Scaglione. Smith. Fisher. Hall. Merrill. Ferguson. Morris. 12 yeas, Mr. President.
Motion carries and ordinance number 18 is adopted. Ordinance number 19, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor, director of public service to advertise, see bids, award, and execute a construction contract for the Park Ridge Circle Northwest Water Main Extension Project, amending appropriation ordinance number 49/2021, declaring same to be an emergency.
Leader?
Mr. President, I move we adopt ordinance number 19.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 19. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Smucker. Babcock. Showman. Hawk. Kimbrough. Scaglione. Smith. Fisher. Hall. Merrill. Ferguson. Morris. 12 yeas, Mr. President.
Motion carries and ordinance number 19 is adopted. We're now under announcement of committee meetings, and our next meeting date will be August 9th at 6:30. Finance?
Finance will meet 6:30, August 9th.
Thank you, Member Merrill.
Personnel meet same time, same place.
Thank you, Member Babcock. Environmental?
Environmental Public Utilities, August 9th, 6:30.
Thank you, Member Fisher. We are now under miscellaneous business. Is there any miscellaneous business for this evening? Wow, no miscellaneous business. All right, hearing none. Clerk Doherty, our quote for the week, please.
When your children are teenagers, it's important to have a dog so that someone in the house is happy to see you. Nora Ephron.
Amen. Yeah. Leader.
I move we adjourn.
I had a dog, yeah.
That's
I
why-
know you did.
I got two dogs.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. Mr. Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Smuckler, Babcock, Shulman, Hawk, Kimbrough, Scaglione, Smith, Fisher, Hall, Merrill, Ferguson, Morris. 12 yeas, Mr. President.
This meeting is adjourned. I want to thank everybody for coming this evening.
7:32.